Hello and welcome to Top Plays. I am your host, Blue from KantoCast, and this is the series where we take a look at some of the best plays from the weekly matches during Season 5 of the GBA. It's the last week of the regular season, and the playoffs have nearly started. What better way to celebrate than to look at some of the best plays from Week 12? Actually, that's really all we can do to celebrate here, because that's really the only thing we cover on this series. Top Plays! Reuniclus was great during the Season 2 D-League, and it was great during Season 5 of the GBA. This week was no different. Particularly this week because it lands a Focus Blast in the Pelipper Steel Wings match. Coming in to take a Scald for Donphan from the opposing Suicune, Reuniclus takes the attack easily. Knowing that Suicune couldn't handle the Reuniclus all that well, the Steel Wings switch in Crocodile to take whatever Reuniclus wants to dish out. Probably a Psychic-type attack, right? Wrong. The Pelippers make the correct prediction and fire off a Focus Blast, which lands against the incoming Crocodile. With Crocodile down, little stood in the Pelipper's way of taking the game, and they did so in a 4-0 fashion. Ghost types are tricky. Halloween, ghosts, trick-or-treat. There's probably a pun in there somewhere, but now is not the time, because this play from the Sawsbucks Regirox match is serious business. Conkeldurr is in against Scrafty. Conk goes for a knockoff, assuming the Scrafty would be switched out because of how obvious the Drain Punch was, and Scrafty stays in, attacking with the Drain Punch itself. The Sawsbucks think it's way too risky to go for another knockoff. Let's do it. The Regirockies switch in Gengar, assuming the Drain Punch is coming this time, but Conkeldurr goes for another knockoff, clearing the Gengar from the Regirockies lineup. With Gengar gone, Conkeldurr would go on to pick up 3 KOs this game and lead the Sawsbucks to a 5-0 victory. Once in a while, you have to take a risk. Sometimes it's predicting a switch, sometimes it's doubling out, and occasionally, you gotta go for that double protect. The double protect is exactly what happened this time during the Mankey's Hawlucha's match, and it was a game changer, literally. After the devastating realization that Hyper Voice would go through Alakazam's substitute, Sharpedo was the last stand against the opposing speedy Heliolisk. A double protect was necessary for Sharpedo to be able to outspeed Heliolisk with 2 speed boosts. The risk is rewarded as Sharpedo takes the double protect and begins to sweep, first taking out Venomoth, then Togekiss, followed by Tyranitar, and finally, Heliolisk itself. The double speed from the double protect allowed the Mankeys to go on a last-ditch sweep that won them the game 2-0. The match between the Arcaniners and Sea Kings was planned to be a bit unconventional, and it would have been awesome to see all the random sets that were brought by both players. However, Mega Lopunny is insane, and Last Resort Lop stole the show. After Scizor sets up a Swords Dance and a substitute, it passes the boost onto Lopunny. After Torterra breaks the sub, Lopunny Mega Evolves and hits a Fake Out. From that point on, it was Last Resort devastation. First taking out Torterra, then Slowbro, followed by Porygon 2, and then Tornadus. Preserving Mega Lopunny for the fear of the Mach Punch from Breloom, the Arcaniners withdraw, but Mega Lopunny would come back to pick up the last KO on Exploud at the end of the game, giving it 5 KOs in total, and allowing the Arcaniners to win the match 5-0. For this week's number 1 top play, we are looking at the Azumarill Shuffle. And no, it's not some sort of new dance craze, it's the series of fancy switches made by the Donphan in their match against the Giantes that prove just how great Azumarill can be. With Crobat and Luxray on the team, the Donphan had an easy time getting Azumarill in against big threats like Latias, Amoonguss, Entei, you name it. Azumarill starts by coming in on Latias for a second time, this time to take a Dragon Pulse for Slowking. Latias switches out again, and Azumarill gets its second Ice Punch off onto Amoonguss. This whittled it down enough to the point where when it came in again, Slowking's Psyshock would pick up the KO, getting rid of the main wall against Azumarill's Waterfalls and Play Roughs. A little later, Luxray is able to Volt Switch in Azumarill against Latias for a third time, while once again nullifying a Dragon Pulse. Latias attempts to save itself by roosting, but Azumarill's Play Rough would prove to be too powerful. In comes Blissey, and the Donphan have to ponder what's about to happen. Fearing some sort of counter or seismic toss plan, Azumarill switches out into Landorus, and Blissey reveals the Fling Flame Orb, which would have burned and severely crippled Azumarill for the remainder of the match. Luckily, Landorus takes the hit and is able to set up late-game Stealth Rocks as Blissey switches out. After Ditto KOs Landorus, the Donphan have a safe switch into Azumarill, and it goes for a Waterfall. Ditto, however, switches out into Blissey, which falls to an additional Waterfall the following turn. With walls and some bigger threats down, Azumarill cleared the way for Luxray and Crobat to come in and clean up the remainder of the match, resulting in a 4-0 win for the Donphan. And once again, it's time to crown the reigning top play. I'm starting to think Scizor is a little less generous than its play name implies. Stingy Scizor is a little more accurate than gift-giving Scizor at this point, because it refuses to give up anything, namely the reigning top play title. Risky Frisky Excelgor may have been able to see the top plays crown Scizor was holding. Get it? Because the ability Frisk lets you see what item the Pokemon is holding? It's an ability pun. I'm sorry. But it wasn't able to take it. Maybe it should have used Knockoff since it can't be a thief. Because Knockoff actually gets rid of an item, and Thief would steal an item, but Excelgor can't learn Thief. I'll stop now. Will the fancy footwork of the Azumarill Shuffle leave gift-giving Scizor mystified? Or will Scizor's natural gift of talent keep it in the reigning top plays running? That was the last one, I promise. You decide by casting your vote via the straw poll link in the description. Guys, if you are hyped for the playoffs to start, let us know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, feel free to let us know what your top plays of Week 12 were. But that's going to wrap up this week's Top Plays. I am KantoCastBlue, and I will catch you next week with more Top Plays from Season 5 of the GBA.